All right, so here's the thing, man. When you talk about football right now, we're standing at this insane crossroads, like the era of Messi and Ronaldo, that golden age we all grew up on. It's basically fading into history, and for the first time in over a decade, we don't have a clear king of the mountain. And that's wild because football has always thrived on icons, on guys who make you stop what you're doing just to watch them touch the ball. And now the big question is, who's next? Is it Mbappe with that lightning speed and killer instinct, this dude who already has a World Cup under his belt and looks like he was built in a lab to dominate? Is it Haaland, this Viking machine who's smashing scoring records like it's a video game on rookie mode? Or is it somebody we haven't even heard of yet, some kid out there on a dusty pitch who's about to rise up and shock the entire world? That's the fun part. We don't know, and that mystery, that chase for the next GOAT, it's what keeps this sport alive. It's what keeps fans arguing in bars, on podcasts, on social media, everywhere, because we're all searching for that next legend to obsess over. And what makes it so addicting is knowing we're watching history in motion. Like 20 years from now, people are going to look back on this exact era and say, that's when it all shifted. And right now, you and me, we get to live it. Man, when you look at Mbappe's case for being the next GOAT, it's insane how much he's already achieved at such a young age. Like this kid literally won a World Cup at 19, and not just as a passenger, he was out there scoring in a World Cup final, running past defenders like they were cones. And that's the kind of stuff that puts you in a totally different category right away, because historically only legends like Pelé did that at that age. And Mbappe has this crazy mix of raw technical precision and that killer instinct in front of goal, where if he's in a one-on-one, you already know what's about to happen. And what blows my mind is how consistent he's been. Like every season with PSG, he's banging in goals, assisting, carrying game. Even though people sometimes downplay League One, the reality is that when he plays against the best in Champions League, he's still dropping monster performances, torching top defenders. And now with him moving to Real Madrid, you can feel that energy. Like this is the stage where his claim to the throne could really explode, because Madrid is that club where legends cement their legacy. And if he delivers Champions Leagues and Ballon d'Ors there, the conversation changes overnight. And beyond the numbers, he's got that aura, that star power where kids look up to him, brands chase him. He's already the face of international football, and that's something you can't really teach, that charisma mixed with talent that makes him feel inevitable. And what's crazy is he hasn't even hit his prime yet. He's 25 and already doing stuff most players dream of. So imagine 5, 6 years from now, when his experience catches up with his athleticism, it could get scary. The only question is longevity. Can he dominate for a decade the way Messi and Ronaldo? Because that's what separates legends from GOATs. It's not just having a couple insane years, it's sustaining that level of God mode performance for 10, 12, 15 seasons. And that's the challenge. But if you're talking about potential pedigree, resume, Mbappe's case is as strong as it gets right now, because he's already got the trophies, the highlight reels, the consistency, and the stage presence. And if he keeps stacking Champions Leagues and maybe another World Cup, Matt, you're looking at a dude who could actually bridge that impossible gap between the Messi-Ronaldo era and whatever comes next. And that's why so many people are ready to crown him the heir. Dude, when you talk about Haaland's case for being the next GOAT, it's almost like he was built in a lab to score goals, because this guy isn't just a striker, he's a machine, like a freak of nature who looks like a Viking warrior mixed with a sprinter, and the way he just bullies defenders is ridiculous. He's 6'4", fast as hell. And yet he's also clinical with both feet, deadly in the air, and has that ice-cold composure in front of goal. And what's scary is he makes it look easy, like he's playing on beginner mode while everyone else is grinding on legendary. And the numbers back it. You look at his stats at Dortmund and then City, and it's video game stuff, breaking the Premier League single-season scoring record in his first season, dropping hat-tricks like it's nothing, and doing it in one of the toughest leagues in the world. And what makes his case so strong is how efficient he is. He doesn't need 10 chances to score. Give him one or two and boom, the ball's in the net. And that's something that separates him from a lot of flashy forwards. He's pure substance, pure results. And in a game that's obsessed with stats are terrifying. Now people say he doesn't have the all-around game like Mbappe. He's not dribbling past 5 guys or creating magic from deep. But that almost adds to the argument, because it shows you don't need to be flashy when you're that damn effective. And let's not forget, he's still only in his early 20s, already dominating at the highest level, already a Champions League winner with City, already proving he can deliver when it matters. And if he keeps stacking up goals at this, you're looking at a guy who could shatter all-time scoring records like Messi and Ronaldo's insane numbers might actually be within reach. And that's wild to even think about because those records felt untouchable, but Haaland's efficiency makes it believable. The only question is longevity and adaptability. Can he stay injury-free? Can he keep evolving when defenses figure him out? Because physically, he relies a lot on explosiveness and power, but if he adds more layers to his game, man, he could dominate for a decade. You can't ignore the psychological impact too. Defenders already look spooked when they see him. It's like they know they're going to get cooked, and that intimidation factor is rare. So yeah, Haaland's case is basically that he's the most unstoppable pure striker we've seen in years. And if football is ultimately about putting the ball in the back of the net, then this dude might just end up with the strongest argument of them all. Here's the thing, man. When you start talking about the GOAT criteria in football, it's like stepping into this never-ending bar fight where everybody's got a different definition of greatness, because some people will tell you it's all about numbers, goals, assists, records, trophies. Like you stack those stats high enough and boom, that's the GOAT. But then others will say it's not just about the stats, it's about what you do with them, the impact, the clutch moments, the times you stepped up when the world was watching. And then there's the style crowd, the ones who believe that how you play matters just as much as what you that artistry and magic are just as valuable as cold efficiency. Because let's be real, Messi didn't just score goals, he made people cry with the beauty of his dribbles. Same with Maradona, same with Ronaldinho. So does the GOAT have to be a magician, or can he be a machine? And that's where the debate really kicks off, because you've got guys like Haaland who are just demolishing scoreboards. And you've got Mbappé who blends numbers with flair and trophies. And then there's the longevity argument too, because what Messi and Ronaldo did is in 15 straight years at the very top, reinventing themselves, staying hungry. That's something almost nobody can replicate. And for a lot of people, that's the GOAT blueprint. Sustained dominance, not just peaks, but consistency over time. Then you add in the international angle, because some fans won't take you seriously unless you've delivered for your country, like Mbappé already has a World Cup. Messi finally got his. Ronaldo carried Portugal to a Euro, and that becomes a huge part of the resume, while other legends who didn't win internationally sometimes get dinged for it. So the GOAT debate becomes this tangled mess of categories: individual brilliance, collective success, longevity, cultural impact, style, and legacy. And depending on what you personally value, you might crown a different king, which is why arguments get so heated, because there isn't one universal measuring stick. And honestly, that's what makes it fun, because the next generation, whether it's Mbappé, Haaland, or someone we haven't even heard of yet, is going to be judged against this impossible standard set by Messi and Ronaldo. And people will always split hairs about whether raw numbers matter more than artistry, or whether clutch moments mean more than week-to-week consistency. And in the end, the GOAT criteria is less about science and more about emotion, about who made you feel like you were watching something beyond human. And that's why the debate never really ends. It just evolves with every new star that rises. The unknown factor in the whole GOAT debate is probably the most exciting part, because as much as we talk about Mbappé and Haaland being the obvious heirs to Messi and Ronaldo, history shows us that the true next GOAT might not even be on our radar yet. And that's the crazy thing about football. It's unpredictable. Like, think back before Messi blew up, nobody outside of hardcore Barcelona followers really thought this tiny kid with growth hormone issues was going to rewrite the history books. Or before Ronaldo came to United, he was just some skinny teenager with step over. People didn't see him becoming a global icon. So right now there's probably a 16 or 17-year-old somewhere, maybe in Brazil, maybe in Africa, maybe in a random academy in Europe, who's about to shock the world. And that's what makes this debate fun, because the next GOAT could come from anywhere. And it keeps football alive with this sense of discovery. And the unknown factor also reminds us that hype doesn't always guarantee greatness. Like, remember Freddie Adu, hailed as the next Pele, or countless next Messis who never lived up to the billing. So as much as Mbappé and Haaland look inevitable, you can't rule out the possibility that someone totally new shows up and rewrites the script. And the beauty of football is that it's global, billions of kids playing, and out of those, one could emerge with the perfect storm of talent, mentality, and circumstances to rise above everyone else. And when that happens, it feels magical, like a bolt of lightning you didn't see coming. And the unknown factor also adds pressure to the current stars, because while they're fighting to cement their status somewhere out there, the next challenger might already be developing, hungry, fearless, ready to dethrone them. And that's part of the cycle. Every generation believes they've seen the peak until the next one proves otherwise.
And honestly, that mystery is what keeps fans hooked, because it's not just about watching Mbappé or Haaland, it's about wondering what if the real GOAT is still a kid out there dribbling on some dusty pitch. And that possibility keeps the story of football alive. It keeps the debate fresh, because the GOAT race is never over, it's always evolving, and the unknown is the wild card that can flip the whole conversation on its head at any moment. The shadow of Messi and Ronaldo is so massive that it almost feels unfair to whoever comes next, because these two didn't just dominate for a few seasons. They basically owned football for 15 straight years, trading Ballon d'Ors like it was a two-man monopoly, breaking records that people thought were untouchable, and doing it with such consistency that it warped the way we look at greatness. Like, before them, a player could have a few insane peak years and be considered legendary, but after them, the bar got raised so high it's almost unreachable. And that's the weight guys like Mbappé and Haaland are carrying, because every goal they score, every trophy they win, people immediately compare it to Messi and Ronaldo, and that constant measuring stick makes it nearly impossible to be judged on your own terms. And the craziest part is, these two were so different in style but equally effective. Messi was this magician, gliding through defenders like a video game glitch, making football look like art, while Ronaldo was this Terminator, all power, discipline, athleticism, reinventing himself at every stage of his career to stay on top. And together they created this perfect storm where fans didn't just debate who the best was, they basically picked sides like it was religion. Messi fans versus Ronaldo fans, and that tribal energy kept football buzzing for years. Now the next generation is stepping into that void, but the problem is, people don't just want greatness anymore, they want another rivalry like that. They want two icons who can push each other to superhuman levels, and that's a once-in-a-lifetime alignment. It might never happen again. So no matter how good Mbappé or Haaland get, they're always going to be compared to this golden era, and honestly, that's a heavy shadow to live under, because even if they break scoring records or win multiple trophies, people will still say, yeah, but Messi and Ronaldo did it for long, did it with more style, did it with more pressure. And that's the curse of following legends. But it's also the challenge, and maybe that's what will fuel the next GOAT, because to truly earn that title, they'll have to step out of that shadow and create their own legacy, their own myth that doesn't feel like a copy. And that's what makes this next chapter so fascinating, because we're watching in real time as these young stars try to prove they can even exist in a world still haunted by the ghosts of Messi and Ronaldo's greatness. All right, guys.
So when you really sit back and look at this whole GOAT conversation, whether it's Mbappé, Haaland, or some kid we don't even know yet, the truth is we're living through one of the craziest transitional moments in football history, because for more than a decade we've been spoiled with Messi and Ronaldo, two guys who basically broke the game, and now we're all searching for who's next, who's going to carry that torch. And the beauty of it is there's no perfect answer. It's all speculation, it's all emotion. That's what makes it so damn fun to talk about, because Mbappé brings that speed, that swagger, the trophies at such a young age. Haaland is this ice-cold goal machine rewriting scoring books. And then you've got the unknown factor, the possibility that someone else out there is quietly cooking up their own greatness and is about to blow the world's mind. But no matter what happens, the shadow of Messi and Ronaldo will always hang over this debate. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's the challenge this new generation needs, because true greatness doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It thrives when it's being compared to the impossible. So whoever steps up and takes that mantle is going to have to carve their own path, write their own story, and give us those moments where we look at the screen and say, holy shit, I can't believe I just saw that. And at the end of the day, that's what football is all about, those goosebump moments that stay with you forever. So yeah, the next GOAT is still being written. We're lucky enough to be around to watch it happen live. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for listening, and good luck to all of us as fans, because we're about to witness history unfold in real time, and that's a hell of a ride to be on.